Hello, I'm Andre.
And I'm Audrey.
And we make up 2/3 of the Justifiable Noize project.
Yes, we are missing our partner in crime, Mr. Kyle Johnston.
We are coming to you today from
the world famous Harlem, New York City, USA, and we are in Marcus Garvey Park.
And what we want to do very quickly, first and foremost, is to mention that our 3rd podcast is up and running, doing very well, and that is called
Reparations, and we're talking all things reparations, and we welcome your feedback, and we also would like for you to share our podcast.
Yep, share, subscribe, download, but most importantly, listen and provide your opinions. This segment is actually not about a podcast at the moment, but it's a new little piece that we just figured we'd drop out one of our what's called Pass the Peas. It's a segment within our podcast right at the end where we talk about current events that may not have made the news or may have made the news, and we just want to throw it out there, maybe give a little spin of our own. So one of the Pass the Peas that we like to share very quickly happens to deal with the allegations of sexual misconduct of professors at Morehouse University. There have been several past and current students that have come out and made claims. They made claims to the university about how two administrators, professors, have made sexual advances over time towards some young men. I believe they were both, that I know of that I've seen thus far, freshmen that were at the university. Very terrible news because, as we all know, as a historically black college, Morehouse has a very good reputation, and we're hoping that they really solve this situation very quickly. I believe both administrators are currently on administrative leave, and I know that the students had gone directly to authorities under, I believe it's Title IX, but nothing was really done at first. So I hope and pray that they get to the bottom of that very, very, very quickly.
Right. Yeah. That's not a good thing. We hate to see, just a historic, predominantly black institution, have this issue. But I think what is going to be key is how they go about resolving it in the best interest of really the students, right? To show, but also, do the due diligence. If the things are not true, also, in fairness to the administrators. But they definitely need to be transparent about it so that, students can feel safe. That's really important.
Absolutely. You had a Pass the Peas moment.
I did. So, the college that I teach at.
Wow, this is all about universities.
Yes,
today, huh?
Last week we were under a cyber hack attack. And I'm not going to say the name, but it was definitely in the news. We didn't know initially what was happening, and our systems were hacked and they were frozen. Everything from attendance to our grade books to our college email, and the hackers had put in for a $2 million Bitcoin ransom, which is interesting for my students because I teach personal financial management, and Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is one of the things.
Always coming up. I've spoken at this university 2 times, and I know that that's been a very popular question about Bitcoins, as it is everywhere that I go. But that's one institution where they were hacked and being held hostage, and money has been asked. It's happened in Atlanta. It's happened in many different municipalities where systems are being hacked. I think the biggest and most important thing is that whether any organization, corporation really has to make sure that they have the utmost security for the people's information, the data. I mean, we saw Equifax, who it provides ton, or has a database of tons of information, and you would think of all people or of all organizations that they would have been on point with regards to that. But even they have been hacked into and had a breach. So
a huge breach, yeah. And for our school, so it's interesting because most of the students, the administration is saying that they rebuilt the system. I'm not gonna say rebuilt the system, although many of the students feel like they paid that ransom. So I don't know what they did. We'll see when raise time comes if they did or not. So that's my past to be.
Another issue which is very relevant, I think at the time that you'll see this, is the Robert Mueller will be testifying in front of Congress, I think for 3 or 5 hours. I don't know if that's 2 different sessions, but that will be taking place this coming Wednesday. So hopefully you get a chance, if you didn't read the Mueller Report, that you get a chance, and hopefully he actually speaks a lot about what's in the report, or speaks maybe even a little bit more, opens up and divulges some information. I do believe, for the populace, they want to hear more from the person that was in charge of the report, since the populace, we all know, have not read it. But most importantly, I think everybody should take the time and listen in. Of course, you get your own opinions based on what you hear, and of course, hopefully, if you get a chance to either read part 1 or part 2 of the report. So that happens.
I think I don't even care. We've waited so long for that report to come out. It did nothing, right? It did nothing. And so it's like, I'm at a point where I don't even care.
Well, and last piece on that, because I don't want to belabor in anything. If you really want to hear about that, you can listen to our very first podcast, which was
Impeach him or vote him out.
But I will say that I like to see what happens, and most importantly, it is part for the process. So if it's part of the process, let's have it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if there's any new light that is shed on the matter. Mm-hmm. And I would say, finally, the last past the piece, and as just important as everything else that we've just discussed, has to deal with Ebola, which is a virus. You may have heard about it maybe 5-7 years ago, that was afflicting many people in certain parts of Africa. Well, over the past few months in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the outbreak is back. It lists right now anywhere from 1,700 to 2,000 people have died. It's not something that we hear about constantly on the news, but it is very important, when you have these viruses that are afflicting people in, I like to say our native land, but most importantly, wherever it can be, because, we're one global society. If you travel one way, if you didn't travel to Africa, but you on a plane that, sat and stopped inside London and it just finished coming from there, you too could catch the virus.
It impacts everybody. It's not just the African people virus.
Yes.
So we all need to be concerned about how they do their due diligence to arrest this horrible virus.
Yes, and most importantly, why it's spreading is that there is a, not exactly a civil war, but you nearly have close to a civil war. There is an unrest. I think that's the best word to put it. Unrest that's going on in the Democratic of Congo. It's been going on for a while, so it makes it very hard for the NGOs that are coming in to help. They've been attacked many times, and then people are still very leery, of really talking about that, that they have the virus, because they're also being shunned. So there is medication for it. It's all a matter of timing, and I'm hoping that within the very near future that virus will be eradicated in the Congo and the surrounding area. Hey, that's been our Pass the Peace moment, and I want to thank you again for listening to our 3 podcasts, which is Impeach Him or Vote Him Out, second one?
What was? Oh my God!
She forgot the second
third,
one.
what is it?
No, the
The
second.
third one is reparations, and the second one was about.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
The weed.
Yes! Oh God! How can I forget?
Reefer Madness.
Reefer Madness. Reefer Madness.
So hopefully you can either listen to the podcast in that order or any order that you choose based on what you find most interesting. And
Yes.
our very next podcast that will be coming out is entitled
Lessons from Our Parents, and that's going to be very interesting. So definitely download.
might be a tearjerker.
It could be, yeah, that's okay. So download, subscribe, give us your feedback. We definitely want to hear from you and know, what you're thinking about. And if you have any other future podcast topics that you want to suggest, we're open.
Once again, we're the Justifiable Noize Project. Thank you very much.
Thank you.